I am Kaycienikole. Most of you are probably already following, but if not, welcome. We're going to be talking about a subject today that I am deeply, deeply passionate about. And I've been kind of called to share more on this topic specifically. I get a lot of people reaching out to me about this topic specifically, so I figured I would jump right on in. We're going to talk about living with purpose, what that means, how we can bring more of that into our lives. And the emphasis is going to be strongly on alignment, how to align ourselves with whatever it is that we're trying to grow or build or work towards within ourselves. Okay. So a little bit about my background and what brought me to wanting to share this offering. So I have been teaching yoga for about 12 years now, and I have gone through a lot of inner exploration. It's been a long journey of getting to know myself, and not just getting to know myself once. It's like this constant relearning process of, re-exploring the new chapters of your life, and who you are in each chapter is going to require a different version of you to kind of show up and to evolve and to kind of grow into yourself. And so I feel like I've done a lot of that throughout my journey, and, a lot of the mindfulness practices that have anchored me into getting to know myself, getting to know who I am, what I want to do. So when I found yoga, it's honestly the first time I felt this deep calling for something bigger than myself. I have never felt as connected to something the way that I did for yoga. It was like this instantaneous feeling of like, yes, this is it. And I felt it almost just on a soul level, like that I'm all in. And that is the feeling right there. So as soon as I felt that, there was no other question. There was no feeling of doubt or, wonder or questioning myself. It was like, this is what I want. And this is what I'm going to grow, because I can feel it from my soul that no matter what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to bring this to life. And so started moving into that direction, was teaching ever since. So let's go ahead and fast forward up into maybe about 2 to 3 years ago is when I started undergoing these shifts and these changes as I started to grow into this new chapter of myself. As I did, I was noticing, okay, a lot's changing. I'm outgrowing what I was once doing, and now I'm moving in this new direction. And that's really scary, especially when you work and you focus so much on building one part of yourself, and then you switch everything up. It's like shaking yourself down to a foundation, even breaking the foundation down and saying, we're going to lay a new foundation. We're going to start over. And so I went through a lot. It was like unraveling myself as I started to go through all of this breaking down process. And this breaking down process felt a lot like that during that time. So it was not necessarily the easiest time. There was a lot of dark periods, a lot of inner reflection. Now, through all of that, what allowed me to stay connected was recognizing the practice that had drawn me deeper into myself, my yoga practice, right, had evolved. And as it had evolved, it had shifted more into a meditation practice. This can be any mindfulness practice. And so meditation for me was my anchor, dropped me right back into myself. So regardless of all the turbulence around me, regardless of the fact that everything had been crumbled down to nothing, I still had my practice. And through that practice, I found that clarity, that calm, where I was able to envision what it is that I wanted. And not just that, but I was able to drop down into that feeling, into that soulful level, to really connect with what is it that I want to do? What do I want? What is that vision? What is that goal? What is that dream that I'm wanting to work towards? And so for me, when I was able to drop into that mindful space, I asked myself that question, and the response to it was, I want to help people. I want to serve. I want to help to the degree that I can. Now, with the tools that I have learned over the past, over a decade, I have learned very valuable tools that help us to get to know ourselves, to work through things, and to align ourselves with whatever it is that we're wanting to grow within our lives. Invaluable. Okay, I cannot stress enough how valuable these tools are. It allowed me to anchor back in, to feel that sense of connection, and to move forward with clarity, saying, regardless of anything, I'm going to move into it the same way I used to. When I felt that calling and I went for yoga, it's the same thing. It's just feeling that inner calling and allowing yourself to move into it. The allowing yourself is the hard part, right? That's when we start to stand in our own way. That's when we start to block ourselves, to doubt ourselves, because familiarity is a son of a bitch. Let me tell you, it will hold you down. It will anchor you into that comfort zone and prevent you from being able to evolve and grow and to shift into whatever it is that you're becoming. Because remember, nothing stays the same. You are constantly growing and evolving and shifting and changing. That if you are trying to stay the same, you are resisting. You are resisting the inevitable changes that are going to come. Now, what we can do is, as things are changing and growing, we can make more conscious choices to align ourselves with whatever it is that we're wanting to build from that, right? So the opportunities that are presented to us, we can take them, see what fits, and we can realign and move forward. So that is what has brought me here, was finding that deep sense of why, my purpose, that inner calling. And it's so much greater than a surface level. Okay. So for me, finding my purpose or finding my why, I found this one exercise to be extremely helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. You can join with me if you'd like. Okay. I'm going to close my eyes, spine up nice and tall. And we're just going to take one deep breath. So take a slow breath in through your nose. And then just open up your mouth and let it go. Okay. Relax your breath in and out of your nose. Now with your eyes closed, I want you just to imagine whatever it is that you want most right now. What is it that you're trying to grow, to build, a goal for yourself, a bigger vision for yourself? Whatever that is, I want you to just go ahead and envision it now. And as you envision it, maybe ask yourself the reason why we're not fully stepping into that vision. What's holding us back? What's preventing us from moving forward? And all of a sudden, your mind is going to rattle off all these different answers and responses for all the things that you're doing that are keeping you from them. Okay, now let's let all of that kind of just fade into the background. Now, what would you be doing every single day to align with that vision or that goal? And it doesn't have to consume every drop of your day, but how can we implement a little bit more of what feels good for us inside? If we could move towards that goal, towards that vision, towards that something greater, what would that look like? How would that feel? And just kind of envision it here for a moment. Okay, so now that we have that vision there, ask yourself, why? Why do you want that thing? Whatever it is that you're wanting, whatever that goal or that vision is that you've created for yourself, ask yourself, why? Why do you want it? Okay, now even building off of that, if you could do anything in this world, okay, let's say that money had absolutely no worry in your mind, okay, you have all the money that you need, all of your friends and family and people are taken care of, right? It's just you focused on, I have all of this money, now what am I going to do with it? So now that you don't have to tie a job to it specifically, what would you do? What would you do? Sometimes we feel very lost with this question, and sometimes we know right away. Okay, go ahead and open up your eyes if they're still closed. So the reason why I kind of like going through that process and eventually getting to that why of what would we do if money wasn't a factor? I love that question. And it is so, so potent because what we choose to answer right there shows a lot about our purpose or our why. What is it that we want? And so for myself, when I asked myself that question and I wanted to help people and I wanted to provide some kind of service to help others, And I know right now, if I had all the money in the world and everything was taken care of and everything was fine, I would still want to serve and want to help people just the same. I would be doing the exact same thing. And that feeling right there is alignment, is connecting to a deeper sense of purpose and a why. And when we don't know, right, that could take some exploration, because everyone's purpose or that feeling of a why, that inner calling, it's going to be different for every single person, right? So my why is going to be different than your why and your friend's why and your parents' why. Everyone has their different purpose and their inner calling for this world. Think about the things you enjoy, the things that light you up and bring you to life, right? Those are the things that we want to follow, that we want to lean into, but that's going to be different for every single person. And that is why comparison and watching all of these other people doing their things, right? It should inspire us. Rather, we try to emulate them. We try to do this, do that. We try to compare ourselves, and we end up not allowing ourselves to fulfill our own sense of purpose and why. So regardless of what everyone else is doing, right, we can feel the inspiration from that momentum, but realistically, we have to get to know ourselves to be able to align with that deeper sense of calling or purpose within ourselves, okay? So in order to get to know yourself, it's going to take some kind of self-reflective or mindfulness practice. Think about a time in your life when you kind of fell into what I'll call a flow state, right? Let's say maybe you're drawing or you're painting, or maybe you're going for a walk, or whatever it is, okay? You're knitting something. It's usually something creative or movement based where you can you zone out. Time just escapes you. You're sitting there, you're doing whatever that activity is, and then you look at the time and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize so much time had gone by. That flow state is when you're kind of in that space. Time doesn't exist. You're just pure energy flowing in through that creation, okay? Purpose feels just like that. And once again, so often we think about what it is that we love in this world, or whatever it is that we're wanting to grow and build. We think about that once again as our, this is my job title. This is what I do. Okay. Maybe it is, but maybe it's not. Maybe you do something for work, but then you still save time for yourself to do something that brings a sense of purpose, right? Because here's the thing. If you don't live with purpose, these are the feelings that typically happen. You start to feel very tired. You start to feel very disconnected. You feel the sense of being stuck. Sometimes it feels very suffocating, like you're trying to grow, but you can't grow beyond this shell that's around you, right? When we keep ourselves small, and it's like we want to emerge and we want to grow beyond that. We don't want to hold ourselves down. And so when we're able to kind of break through that shell, we can see, oh my gosh, there's so much limitless potential in this world. I could really do whatever I want. And if I'm living every day feeling that heaviness and the weight of the world, maybe, just maybe, I should implement more habits or more rituals or routines throughout my day that bring me that sense of flow state, that feeling of alignment, that feeling of connection, right? If we just added more things like that into our day, little pockets of that space, right? Then all of a sudden we start to bring a little more balance into our lives. Because if we're just go, go, go all the time, we're in that like really masculine energy, slow down. Get to know yourself, like pump the brakes for a second. Who are you? What do you want? What do you need? And is what you're doing right now, day in, day out, is it serving you? Does it feel good inside? Ask yourself and be honest with yourself. How's that nervous system doing? We anxious? We feeling like pretty high strung? Is there a lot of stress? Like we have to recognize who we are day in and day out. So do you like the version of you that shows up every single day, right? And every day we feel a little bit different, but we can see the common denominators that kind of go across the board day in, day out, right? Do we connect with what it is that we're doing every day, right? And if we start small, just implementing one little behavior every single day that is something that is moving us more in alignment with purpose, more in alignment with who it is that we're wanting to become, those little steps become more consistent, right? And then all of a sudden we have a pretty good stride. And then all of a sudden, maybe those moments start to get a little bit longer and they're taking up bigger chunks of our day. Or maybe we start to get into a point where we're like, you know what? That feels so good that I'm starting to look at all the other things that I do in my day-to-day life, all those things that don't serve me and don't feel good. I want to see if I can start to shape them and put them in other places, or if I can extract some things and put other things in there that feel better for me. And all of a sudden you start to kind of see it as a puzzle and you're pulling things out. You're like, that doesn't serve me. I don't really like that. Okay. But I'm going to put this in here. Okay. And maybe we have reasons for certain things, and maybe we have to kind of deal with certain things, and that's fine, right? We can still find joy and, appreciation for things in our life that don't bring us, the utmost joy. There's still gratitude there. But for the things that we can, have an effect over, yeah, let's make conscious choices to start extracting those things that don't serve us and to consciously put the things in that do feel good. Now, in the process of extraction, think about if your pockets are full, right? You don't have any space to put anything else in your pockets. So even if you had something really good, you're like, man, I just found this diamond and I want to put this diamond in my pocket, but it's full of all these river rocks. No hate on the river rocks. I like them, right? But it's like, gosh, I don't have room for this diamond. So what do I have to do? I have to pull out some of those rocks to make space for this big diamond, right? And so if I'm too concerned with holding on to all the things that weigh me down and don't serve me, I'm not going to have room for the things that do serve me, that do feel good, and that do align with whatever it is I'm trying to grow or try to build. So pull out those river rocks so you have space to put those diamonds, right? We deserve it. We should be able to do that. But sometimes it sucks to get rid of those rocks. We have sentimental attachment to those little rocks. So we have to get to know ourselves. We have to be able to understand our whys, why we still hold on to those things. And once we're able to kind of, we pick up a rock and we're like, oh, I see why I've been holding on to this. I think it's time that, we let it go. We free up all that weight in that space. That's when we start to feel more aligned. That's when we start to feel we're in a space to actually receive those messages of, hey, if you don't know what brings you life, what brings you joy, what brings you a sense of alignment and purpose, okay, well then maybe that means we need to explore life more. We need to get out there and do things and put ourselves in scenarios that we don't normally do because, hey, we're going to get to know ourselves through those experiences, what you like, what you don't like. Now, I will say, the act of service is across the board such a strong staple for many, many people in feeling a sense of calling, right? It's like when you acquire a skill and you want to share it with somebody, you become a teacher because you want to serve and you want to help other people. So purpose is a funny thing like that, because as soon as you feel that deep sense or calling towards your purpose or towards whatever direction you're going, all of a sudden, you're going to notice that light starts to kind of radiate out. And all of a sudden, all these other people are starting to feel that light that you're projecting out into the world. And you create more and more positive momentum, positive energy. Other people are going to be affected by those things as well. The more you align with what feels good, you start to radiate more goodness back out into the world. It is literally just like that. It's like, think about it. If you took one of those river rocks and you threw it into a very still pond, right? It's like it was very still before, but the second you throw that rock in there, ripples, right? Now, what was once just touching the center of that pond is now radiating all the way out to the edges. That is the impact that you can make when you're living with purpose and a sense of alignment to something bigger. Whatever that is. You don't even have to know what that is. Get out there and explore it, because that is honestly one of the most exciting places to be. And it's not even just a go try something once, and if you don't like it, whatever. Commit yourself to actually doing something, because here's the thing. Being able to fully step into ourselves means we have to step into bigness, bigness. It's asking for us to grow, to evolve, to change, right? If we have to get rid of those old rocks, we have to get rid of those old parts of ourselves to make space for what's coming. That's not easy work. This is a journey, and it's a continuous journey. So as you start to work on certain elements of yourself and you're starting to realign and work into that sense of purpose, well, time goes on and it reshapes you, and all of a sudden you're kind of moving in this opposite direction. It's like, okay, let me start to build more of that competency, more of those skills, learning how to trust yourself, learning how to lean into those things. And honestly, when you feel it inside, think about those moments when your intuition or that gut feeling, you're like, ugh, it just doesn't feel right. Okay. Your intuition is connected to everything. You are a highly intuitive being. If you lean into it, you will see all the magic that you can create just by learning to trust your intuitive nature. Now, we don't listen to our intuition very often, right? We think about it as this imaginary thing. In fact, we use our imagination all the time to create negative circumstances and scenarios where we're envisioning highly stressful things, when instead we can be using that same energy towards envisioning this life that we want to create and build, and knowing we can fully step into that. We just got to get rid of all those extra rocks in our pockets. That's all it is, right? So not an easy journey. And sometimes we're like, yes, I got my vision. I know where I'm going. But then let's say you're walking, you're like, yeah, I know where I'm going. I'm on my journey. And this is my vision. This is my goal. I'm headed toward the finish line. And then we start to kind of zoom up. Let's think about, we're going into a bird's eye view. Okay. So you're watching yourself now walking down this path. But as you start to zoom out and you're looking down at yourself walking on this path, you start to realize like, oh, wait, I'm not actually walking on the right path. I'm not going in the right direction. Like, hold on. Let's turn over this way. This is important as well, because when we pull back a little bit and we actually look at what we're doing every day, we can see all the choices we make, all the directions we go, all the things that we fill our days with, right? All of our habits and our routines and all the things that we do every single day. Those are the things that are taking us where we're going. Those are the things that are guiding the way. Those are the things that are literally creating the path you are walking on. So when you pull back and you see, okay, well, in my head, this is where I'm going. But when I'm actually seeing my habits and my routines and all my choices, they're actually guiding me this way. So now I'm seeing that there's a lack of alignment. I think I'm going one direction, but I'm actually headed another. And so that's when we have to be honest with ourselves and say, okay, maybe I'm not making the choices that are aligning me there. And maybe I need to refocus my attention. If I really like where I'm going, okay, let's reprioritize and move that way. That's fine. But if that's not what we want, then it's okay to say, I want to go somewhere else because I feel called for something bigger and something greater. So I'm going to move in that direction. And when you move with purpose, let me tell you, the brush moves out of the way. You start to feel a lot more effortless movement and navigation down your path, because it's just ease takes you there. The feeling, that flow state where time just isn't anything at all, that's how it feels. You're just flowing. You're flowing with life rather than resisting, just by knowing where you're going and then making the choices that align you and take you there. So if I could give any kind of advice for, working towards more alignment and purpose within your life, my recommendation, meditation. Honestly, I know meditation might not be like the most, it's not the most exciting thing that people want to hear as a recommendation, but it's the mindfulness aspect. Okay. You don't have to tie what meditation is to any of this, or I can't meditate or whatever. If you can spend a couple minutes just getting still and quiet and just even asking internally that question of like, what is it that I want most and why? If I had all the money in the world right now, what would I do? Lean into those spaces. Get to know yourself. When you get to know yourself, the rest will follow, okay? Because then you can lead with intention. You can lead with purpose. And when you lead with that purpose, it's not so surface level. It's not like, oh, I'm going to go in this direction because it's going to make me rich and make me a lot of money. Like, cool. If those things happen, that's great. But if that's your only intention moving forward, you're still right at the surface. That is not soul level, okay? Your purpose and your calling in this world is not to be a millionaire. You can become a millionaire and that's cool, but there is something much deeper and greater inside of you than money, okay? And when we start to kind of drop past, okay, this surface level of how society operates, and we start to drop more into, I'm a soul. I'm a human being having this experience. Like, how can I connect to what feels good for me? How do I want to show up in this world? How do I want to feel, right? When you connect to something greater, you feel a deeper sense of alignment, connection, and then you have stronger impact on the entire world, because that's how it works. Remember, the ripple effect starts here, continues to trickle out, okay? So if you're feeling stuck, you're feeling kind of in this space of not feeling motivated, you're feeling a little sluggish, or you're lacking direction, okay? Lean into some mindfulness practices. Now, this is where I get to the exciting announcement. So all of this just flows together so perfectly and effortlessly. I'm just really excited to announce this. I have been working on this idea, and it is finally here. And let me tell you, when I talk about living with purpose, when I'm about to make this announcement right now, my guts are like, whoo, it feels like all the butterflies, all the goodness, because this is scary for me, okay? When you're leaning into purpose and that feeling of alignment, it can be terrifying because it is asking the bigness of you to step up and to evolve and to grow and to flow into that current of who you're becoming. And that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm like sweating, I'm excited, and I can't wait to share this with you. So yes, I've been teaching yoga for the past 12 years, and I will continue teaching yoga, but this is something a little bit different, okay? This came from a place of asking, what would I do if money was not a thing? And that is how this got created. So I am in the process of creating a course right now. It's an online course, but there are options of working together, which is what I'm hoping to do with y'all. Now, this is geared towards, it's broken up into 3 chunks. And the course itself is called Conscious Alignment. And this, what we talked about today, is a portion of it. Okay, so it's broken up into 3 separate modules. The first module is focused more on getting to know yourself, those mindfulness practices to be able to honestly reflect inward, see those things that are weighing you down, holding you back from fully being able to step into who you're wanting to become. Second module is focused on setting new intention, figuring out who we are, where we want to go, and being very clear with that intention, and then learning practical tools to help us move through, implement new habits, and to start working through those old habits and patterns to create newness. Last module focuses on stepping into your true power and potential. This is my favorite part because yes, you might feel like you're in a sticky place right now. Yes, you might feel like, oh, I just don't have any direction. I don't know where to go, whatever, right? But we're not focused on the negative aspect. We're focused on the solutions and how to move us forward. So the third module is really kind of what we're working towards through the entirety of the whole course, is how to see it in a more positive light of, yeah, we might be here now, but that's because we're building the necessary tools and competency to be able to get us to that next step, to be able to find our true essence, our true power, and to fully step into ourselves, like with confidence, with like, I am that bitch, like I am going to do that. And that is how we should all feel. We should all want to step into what makes us feel alive and to feel empowered and to want to share it and to help other people. And it's to start that cycle. So that's how I broke the course up. And it's going to be broken up into kind of videos like this, where we're just conversation, where I'm giving little lessons on different topics that are ways for us to reflect, to look inward, and to gather more of that introspection, getting to know ourselves and reprogramming those thoughts into something higher vibrational to be able to match with whatever it is that we're building and growing within ourselves. So it basically is pre-recorded videos, but I also am going to have 90 days worth of mindfulness practices. Okay. This is going to be a combination of different things. So it's not just yoga. There is meditation, but there's going to be some other mindfulness practices in there too that are going to tie it all together and help you to create more of a routine for yourself to be able to work this in. So this isn't just like a willy-nilly like course. Like you'll still have time to be able to take it. It is self-paced, but it is structured in a way that if you really commit to doing it, you will see change. You will see growth. You will see yourself starting to step into the version of who you want to become. Guaranteed. But you have to be committed to yourself. So if you're kind of on the fence or you're still married to who you were, right? Where you are right now, if you're still very married to that, like that's okay. This is for those that are ready, that are they've been waiting for that sign. Like, yes, now is the time. Okay. That is exactly why I created this. I want to work with people who want more for themselves, who want to step into that power. And let me tell you, nothing brings me greater feeling of purpose and fulfillment than to see other people succeed. I love it. I seriously love it. I'm such an empath that when people post things, it's like I'm over here on my phone, seeing people and all their accomplishments that they're posting, and I'm like crying on the other end because I'm just so happy for people when they're able to step into that feeling of purpose. And we know it when we watch people and we're like, look at them just living their truth and their essence. Like, it's refreshing. It feels so good to see someone stepping into that purpose and power. And we all have it. Every single one of us. So if you're over there kind of like, well, I don't know. Yes, you can do this too. You can do whatever it is that you want. But sometimes it requires us having to kind of break down all those false beliefs of who we think we are so that we can align with who we actually are and who we're becoming, right? It's as simple as that. So the course is the pre-recorded lesson videos, 90 days worth of mindfulness practices, and they go along with 90 days of a workbook, basically helping you with mindful activities that help to keep you engaged and working actively on kind of working those things out, being able to pull out those rocks, dump them out, put new, diamonds in our pockets and to feel brand new. But it is a process. We have to go through the steps. And if you're just like, oh, I just want the good stuff. Well, guess what? You don't have room in your pockets for all the good stuff. And maybe you do, and you can still jump in, because here's the thing. Like we talked about earlier, doesn't matter how many times you work on yourself. You're never perfect, right? We never reach that perfect finish line. We can find contentment within ourselves, but we're always growing and changing, because as our lives change and all the variables change in our lives, we change and we grow. And so we're always kind of coming back to these same concepts and principles of looking inward and getting to know ourselves. It is a continuous journey that never ends. So even if you started now, you can come back full circle and a year from now and maybe need different messages and whatnot. So it doesn't really matter where you are within yourself. If you're looking to step up and step into your true essence and your potential and, step into your dreams, this is it. This is it for you. And I would love to be a part of this with you. Let me tell you, okay? I would be ecstatic. So on top of that, that is basically the program. Okay. And the program I will have as a separate, like if you just want self-paced, do it all on your own kind of a thing, great. Commit to it and you've got this. And I support you and I will set you up for success, hands down, because it's coming from my heart and my soul. But if you want a little bit more, and this is what I'm really wanting, okay, you'll have the option of adding on for the group coaching calls. Okay. Now, if this starts off a little bit on the smaller side in the beginning, that means there's going to be a lot more intimate connection, and I am capping it off too. So it will never get so big that we don't still have a very communicative engagement as we're kind of going through our group coaching calls. And each coaching call has a very specific focus so that we can all engage together and discuss these topics a little bit more in depth and how they relate into our lives, building more of that community engagement. And then we'll have a separate group for that as well. I love Facebook groups for being able to build community connection outside of kind of contact. But the group coaching calls are going to be absolutely powerful. Let me tell you, powerful, because I have so many ideas for how to keep us engaged and growing together. Okay. Huge. This is going to be so big. I'm so excited. It's like all this excitement has been just like bubbling at the surface, and now it's just like, it's like bursting out. So here's the thing. I am working on this course currently. So pre-sale on it starts today. Okay. Today, when I get off this call, sales will go live. Okay. Now, this is going to be posted on my website. Literally, as soon as this call is done, it's on the website. Now, with this, I wanted to do something special because this means so much to me, and because I know, hands down, that my vibe attracts my tribe. So if I'm putting this out there, I know that the people that are going to sign up for it are going to be the perfect match. And not just that, but the first 5 people that sign up for it, I'm going to give you the live group coaching call option, okay? Half off. Price-wise, I have set this program. It's going to launch in January, so it does not start just now. Pre-sale is open now. And for the live group coaching, that's definitely going to sell out, okay? So that option will sell out at a certain point. The other one, if you just want the course, that will be a continuous, ongoing. You can purchase it at any time starting in January, okay? I'm still building it right now, but that's why I'm just so excited, because it's all so good, okay? But the options. So if you want the live group coaching call, normally that's going to be $999, okay? Now, if you don't want the group coaching, it's $799. This is 100 hours worth of a course, more than that, okay? And it is coming straight from my heart. But if you want the live group coaching, I'm doing it literally for $500 off. Like, oh my gosh. And this is why, only for the first 5 people, okay? And this is only going until the end of September. Only until the end of September for the first 5 people. Okay. Now, the discount for this, if you go to the website, I will have this posted right after this video. Okay. So if you're like waiting over there, like, it's not up there yet. Okay. Give me a second. Once it's posted, you'll be able to scroll down. And after you read all the information, you go down, or maybe you're just like, I don't even need the information. I'm in. Starts in January. Okay. Then you're going to scroll down. Live group coaching call only is going to have the option for the half off. Okay. When you sign up for it, it'll tell you right there before you click add to cart. It'll tell you the code that you want to enter in, which is all caps, first 5. First 5. You type it in and it will automatically apply that $500 discount for you. Okay. Now, I also will have special perks involved that I'm just going to add in, because my first 5 people that sign up for this, y'all are my VIPs. Y'all are I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to nurture you. I'm going to nurture and take care of all of you. But my first 5 supporters, I will not forget. Let me tell you, you guys, we're going to make dreams come true together. Okay. So the coupon code is first 5. And this is designed to help us step into our true power. Now, if you're wanting to do the live group coaching calls, I am going to be doing those on Sundays 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. And if you're not able to make one of the group coaching calls, they're all going to be recorded afterwards and available for you to watch. Okay. So you're not going to miss out. If you need to reference it afterwards, you can kind of get all of that goodness afterwards. That is basically it. I'm just bubbling with excitement right now. Can't wait to hop on the computer and make this live and available to all of you. If someone's not watching this video, they're not getting this opportunity, right? Maybe tomorrow I'll post about it, but this is all you guys. So if you stayed, you're here. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you. Like this, I feel like I'm living my dream right now, and it's so soul-led. It feels like straight from the soul, and I would not be here without you. So I love you so, so much. Old school hearts around here. The other one kind of weirds me out a little bit, but have a great evening. And I'm about to make that live right now. I love you. If you guys have any questions, please comment on this video. Okay. If you have them right now, comment now. Otherwise, you can comment after the fact, and I am here to answer your questions. And that's all I got for you for this evening. Check it out. Conscious Alignment starts in January, but it's about to open registration. First $500 off. See you there. Bye, you guys.